Guys, welcome to Minutes with me. I'm Bontrand Fitness, and this is Daniel Ashmead
What's up?
Fitness. And we have two questions we're going to answer today on this episode. So one of the questions comes from a friend of mine named Samir. Samir Ahmad, he's an actor, bodybuilder. And so his question is basically, what do you do to overcome physical and mental exhaustion?
Good question.
Yeah. So, okay, so I'm gonna start things off. I wrote pretty much a few key notes for you guys, and pretty much knowing. I guess this is work related for him. But yeah, just knowing when to take your breaks. Like I know for myself, I like to keep going hard, but sometimes I don't stop. I just keep going. But it's knowing when to take those breaks when you actually need it. Taking naps, that's another key thing, especially when you are physically and mentally burnt out or just not all there, right?
Right.
Especially with our industry, right? Or any industry, right? You don't want to come to work, not 100%. Right?
Exactly.
Like it wouldn't be fair for if we trained our clients and we were not 100% on our game, right? Like
I always say practice what you preach.
yeah, exactly. Having good sleep, good nutrition to fuel the body, but also exercise, right?
Totally.
And that's also another one. Exercise is another key component to keeping, physically in shape, but also keeping your head mentally there, right? I know with COVID, right, that it affected so many people with their mental game. So exercise is another thing. But another thing is do something fun, do something happy and exciting that brings especially when you're very tired and mentally not there, something that I like to do is just do something fun that gets you doing something, right? Occupies your mind, right? Even if it's like playing a little game, that's fine. Or watching a movie just to get you in that relaxation mode, right? And rest the body, right? Because maybe your body needs it, right?
Totally.
And then turn to other people, right? Like loved ones, coworkers, friends, and limiting your, uh, yeah, limiting negative people or negative things that can bring your energy levels down, right? That's another thing. And last thing that I want to mention is take care of the number one thing that's gonna help you succeed, which is you, right? You are the number one asset, so take care of you. Those are my 2 cents. What about you, Daniel? What do you think?
I agree with everything you said, right? And just kind of build off it, set boundaries. So you're saying, taking times for naps and stuff. Once again, learn how to say no. It's okay to say no sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's better to say no than always to say yes, because you're not going to do everything 100%. And yeah, set boundaries. Like myself, I don't work on weekends. I set my boundaries. I don't work past 8 o'clock at night, so I can spend time with my family. And like you said, I have my downtime. I have my TV that I watch, my movies. I do all those things. Even between my clients, I take 60 to 90 minutes between my clients, my morning shift and my afternoon shift, to just chill, watch a show, listen to a documentary, de-stress, de-escalate, have some downtime so I can be charged up for the other part.
Yeah.
And just to dig deep into some other, more things that if you're doing all that and you still find yourself tired, other things to look into is your thyroid, right? You can be hypothyroid, and that just means you have low energy. So go to the doctor, get that kind of stuff checked up. Check your iron. Iron is very important for energy. Once again, get your blood work checked. You can have a lot of adrenal fatigue. So people like us who work a lot, overstress, business professionals, parents, busy people, a lot of adrenals, and that can really tap you out and make you really, really tired all the time. So getting that checked. So just making sure that, everything is working properly in the body, hormonal wise. So you know that you've got all those things in check. Then it's just, the external things to do, taking the breaks, saying no, having a nap, go on vacation. Please, people, go on vacation. People who go on vacation twice a year are way more productive than people that don't go on vacation. It's been written. It's a statistic. It's true. Trust me. I had to tell Bon for years, go on vacation, and he wouldn't do it. You need that time. You worked hard, right? So you need that time to de-stress. And I've always found when I was on vacation, that's when my best material and my next best idea came, because I wasn't wrapped up in the everyday. I had a chance to de-escalate and relax and really let that mojo go. In Japan, it's mandatory that people take 10 to 15 minutes off every work to think of a new idea. Like, you have to understand, time off is just as important, if not more important than time on.
Yeah.
It's about working efficiently and right, not just being busy.
Yeah. And think about how much time off we had since
Since
the beginning.
March.
Yeah, like
And what did you do? Like, what did you
holy
guys
mackerel, a
do?
lot of thoughts, a lot of planning, and like now I'm a lot more efficient. Like I have a lot more time, right? Starting new lifestyles, starting new things, new projects, but it's all setting out for the future. And I know what my next step is, what my next plan is, where am I going, right? And just to add on to that too is, knowing when to say no. Like I remember, like we talked about this in personal training in 2020 episode, and how I would take on clients and I was like saying yes and yes, and I was like sacrificing my sleep, and I would get like 3-4 hours of sleep per night from Monday to Friday, and yeah, it's just really taking care of yourself. And yes, you can do for a short period of time, but don't do it long term, because you will suffer. You
Yeah.
will. It won't
When
be.
you're young, you can do it, and you can make it for a bit, but still, why would you want to put yourself through that when you can do it, and when there is a better way? Because there is a better way. At first, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, but when there's opportunity to make it better for yourself, take that opportunity.
Yeah.
And with the health, another one which I'm 100% behind is intermittent fasting. The more you eat is the more that your body wants food, and the less that it has that food, it becomes tired. Every time that you're spiking your blood sugars and you drop, that's when you're getting that 3 o'clock lull. That's when you're getting that 6 o'clock lull. So intermittent fasting, having time of a not fed state, as Bon, you probably can contest to, because you've tried it and really got into it in the last couple of weeks since we've talked, the more energy you have. Since I have been fasting for the past 6 months, my energy is through the roof. At 7, 8 o'clock, I am buzzing and I haven't eaten anything all day, because my body is not using 70% of energy used in your body is processing food. So think about where that energy is going to be used if it doesn't have food to digest and process. It's going to go right back into yourself, back into your brain, into your muscles, into your body, which gives you more energy. So people, if you want to get more energy, eat a little bit less often.
Yeah. And on the next episode, we're definitely gonna talk about that, because that's also a question that's been asked. What's your take on intermittent fasting? So guys, on the next episode next Sunday, me and Daniel are gonna cover that and talk deeper into intermittent fasting. And another question was asked, so we're gonna answer that too. So yeah, that's pretty much what do you do to overcome physical and mental exhaustion for Samir. I'll tag you, Samir. And then number 2 question from Wallace. I'll also tag you as well. If someone struggles with being motivated, how can they fix that?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So that applies to a lot of things, right? Like it doesn't even have to be about fitness related. It could be business related, anything, any venture or industry that you're in. But yeah, motivation. I'm gonna start with motivation. Motivation, I can't give it to you. Daniel can't give it to you. It has to come within, right? The way to fix that naturally is, and organically is, the way you think. What are you feeding your mind with, right, on a daily basis? So you look at your habits, right? like, what are you studying, right? Are you studying games, right? So if you're studying games, then, and you want to be wealthy, that doesn't really work. Your motivation is going to be down, right? It doesn't connect, right, is the word. It doesn't align with where you want to go. Like I said, your habits, your environment, right? Are you surrounding yourself with motivated people, or are you surrounding yourself with people who don't have dreams, don't have goals, don't have a purpose in life, right? And maybe that's bringing you down, or you're hanging out with negative people, and that's bringing your energy levels down. That's why, you're not thinking the way you should be thinking, and that's why you're not feeling that self-driven, I'm going to do this.
Energy vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Sucking the life out of you.
But yeah, books, like we talk about this all the time, Daniel, like books, it's what you read, what you feed the brain, what you listen to, your environment. I would say those are the three key things to helping you fix your mindset, but not only your motivation, right? To where you want to go, and figuring out what is your why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to do more? Why would you do more, right? And then figuring out your why, figuring out your purpose, and then, taking the necessary actions. Like I said, with what you feed your mind, your habits, what you do on a daily basis, books, what you feed your, books, audios, documentaries, and your environment.
Totally.
But yeah.
Well, you gotta find people who have been there before, even if it's not in the same field as you, to know that is a hard road, and kind of even a step outside of it. We're not always going to be motivated, and that has to be a reality, and you have to be okay with that. So every single day we don't wake up, yes, today's the day I'm motivated. Some days you wake up and you're like, man, but it's the fact that you still are going to go out and do it. And small successes and doing stuff when you don't want to do it builds motivation, builds grit, and builds character. So it's not when you feel amazing. Everyone can kill it when they're feeling amazing, when they're having the perfect day. But it's when it's 40 degrees below and you have to go outside for a run. It's when you have to wake up at 3:30 to go to work and drive for an hour to get there. It's when you're home at 10 o'clock and you have to do, 5 papers of marking, or, more work, or you got to, deal with your children. That's really going to show that motivation. And sometimes it's not always going to be there, but it's when you pursue through it. And then after it's done, that's what motivates you, because it proved to yourself that even though you didn't want to do it, because that is just an emotional thing, right? We're all 100% emotionally driven, and we have to realize that. Every decision we make is based off emotion, then we justify it after. So we can always say to ourselves, I don't want to do it, and we can justify 1,000 ways not to. But when you still do it, that little spark tells yourself that you can do anything, because even when you didn't want to, you still got up and you still did it. So take note of small success. Take note of, you had to do 10 calls and you did 12 and you finally got that prospect. Take note of, you've been working out for 6 months and finally you got to that weight that you've gotten, or some small success to show that that progress is going forward. So for me, small successes breed and build motivation, because without those small steps, those small goals, those big, hairy, audacious goals will be too hard to obtain, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you got to do that. You got to do it little bit by little bit. And every time you do that, you celebrate. The other part is people don't celebrate. They just think about what next. What's the next thing you need to do? Give yourself that second. Say, look, I did this. That's amazing. Okay, now let's go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Right? But I agree with you. Every day I listen to motivational books. At first, it was a lot more motivational stuff. But like I said, I don't need motivation per se. What I need is to feed my brain and to be educated to be better. So I'm listening to more books. I'm talking to people. I'm doing stuff that I know in one way or another is making me better, which is a motivation in itself. But at first, yes, all those guys, I listened to them all, and it was amazing, yelling at you, pumping you up, over and over again in your car to keep you going. Because when you don't have a boss motivating you, telling you good job, when you don't have coworkers to talk to bounce things off of, when you don't have family members and friends, because sometimes when you're doing your own business, it's a lonely world because you're busy, you're working, you're always on. You got to find those ways to get yourself to keep that spark going. But once that spark going, I think after a while, we don't need to be motivated as much. You just need to still keep going and getting better and being better. And that should be your focus.
And having the bigger goals, right? Once you've achieved this, you have a bigger goal and a bigger goal and a bigger goal.
Yeah, celebrate and bigger goal, because there's always a bigger goal. And it doesn't, and when we're saying bigger goal, it's not always money. My big goals were be a better father, be a better husband, be home at a reasonable time, get back to the gym myself so I can build muscle mass. It wasn't just sales and money. It was all these other things that made my life better, because without it, it's a holistic thing. I would never be happy if I just had money and my wife hated me and I never saw my kids and I didn't get to go to the gym. I give that all up, right? I would never do that just to make more money. So knowing what your goal is, knowing what's really important to you, and like you said, I agree. Take some time and do something that you love. Is it crafts? Is it guitar? Is it the gym? Is it going for a run? Is it singing? Is it art? Find something that intrinsically you love and is not work. Give yourself a break. You deserve it.
Mm-hmm. And one thing to add to that is just, what can you do today? Or what can you do, say you wake up tomorrow morning, what is one thing I can do today to be better?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's it. That's really how I'm going to end this.
One way or another, right? One way or another, for sure.
Yeah. So I hope that helps you guys, Samir and Wallace. I'll be tagging you on Instagram since you guys asked me on Instagram. So we're going to go from there. I'll see you guys next week on the next episode. This is Minutes with me with Daniel Ashmead.
See you later, Ashmead Fitness.
All right, man. Take
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.